In a time of political turmoil, it's easy to overlook the people who work to exercise and support our core American values. Democracy at Work is an election season series from VCIJ at WHRO. People share their stories about how they uphold the core ideals of American democracy: free and fair elections, the defense of the country, ensuring clean air and water, the right to participate in government deliberations, and exercise First Amendment rights. This weekly series brings these compelling stories to light.
My name is Lindsay Church. I use they and them pronouns. I served in the Navy from 2008 to 2012. We found out about the leaked draft or leaked decision in Dobbs like a few days after my wife had been inseminated. It's like literally standing at the protests wondering whether or not she was pregnant. So our baby had a fetal bladder deformity. Their bladder was not able to release the amniotic fluid, and so their torso was just starting to fill up with fluid. They were like 12 weeks, I think it was, and they weren't able to get an amniocentesis to figure out what was going on. We couldn't get that until 16 or 17 weeks. And so we spent 4 to 5 weeks just in agony, not knowing what's going on with our child. And at the same time, everybody is talking about Dobbs. We're fighting at the time because Glenn Youngkin was trying to pursue the 15-week abortion ban. We were waiting for this test that we can't even possibly get until after the deadline of which they want to say that you can't get abortion anymore. So we ended up pursuing compassionate termination. They said that the baby likely died probably the day that we went in for amniocentesis, and the baby had been passed for about 3 days at that point. From there, really pushed and fought for VA to change their abortion policies. I testified in Congress in September of 2022 about the need for VA to do so, and they did it for other families, which will be really important.
Chairman Takano, Ranking Member Rosendale, and members of the committee. My name is Lindsay Church, and I'm a third-generation veteran of the United States Navy. Last year, my wife Jess and I began planning to start a family. She accessed care not through CHAMP VA or TRICARE, which Jess qualifies for, but through a community-based clinic in Richmond, Virginia. The moral injury of having served a country to protect a constitution that no longer protected my family when we needed it most was absolutely devastating. We made the most painful and most compassionate decision for the child we loved so much to end the pregnancy. VA's new reproductive health services policy will allow veterans, family members, and caretakers to access abortion counseling and abortion care in the case of rape, incest, and when the pregnancy threatens the life or health of the patient. This policy will save lives. It'll save the lives of veterans and families across the country living in states that limit or completely ban abortion. Were it in place 1 month earlier, my family could have turned to VA for care.
I got a call from VA because I was one of the advocates that was really loud to tell me the new policy. And I nearly cried just sitting there thinking about all of it. Not much of a crier, but if there was another generation that didn't have to fight like this, that had access to care, even though these like state level laws are telling us that we can't have it, it's hard to say like that everything happens for a reason. It doesn't, it didn't happen in vain.